All right, we're getting right to it. I didn't even play the intro.
Uh-oh. What were
Well,
you saying about technology?
I know. Yeah. Well, sometimes it's the operator, right? I guess. But here we are. I mean, I don't even know why I play the intro anymore. Maybe we'll just get rid of it because, like, they just know us by now.
I don't know.
It's
It's
kind of
it's
cool.
kind of
It
cool
is
and
kind of cool, right?
slick, and you got the new one with all that
I do.
up tempo.
Up tempo. Should we go back and play it now?
Yeah, that hockey sounding.
Well,
Yeah,
let's talk about hockey for sure.
let's
I mean,
talk about
yesterday,
hockey.
a fall down. God, I just couldn't close the deal. Right, 4-3 final. I thought the first 5 minutes of the first period was, but I thought they played a good game.
You know what? Given what we saw, I would say actually we did have a pretty good game.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, for the most part. I mean, Flint certainly got the best of us in
Yep.
terms of, poking the bear and
Right.
getting our little hot heads
Well, and
boiling over. But
Speaking of football, 3 fights, right? Which I've got
Yeah.
the Harper fight that we'll show here in just a minute. But you had brought up, or maybe it was me, I can't remember where I saw. D'Amato was on the ice,
D'Amato, yeah.
and they brought him off the ice for a moment, and just before that, you saw the coaches kind of talking to each other.
talking to each
Well,
other. Is that what we're calling it now?
So I've got the inside scoop on what happened there.
Oh yeah.
So after post-game press conference
Ooh, I
yesterday,
love inside scoops.
Coach Letang was leaving, and I stopped and spoke to him. Said, "Good game, and everything." And I said, "What was going on there?" Well, what happened was they were chirping that one of our guys was chewing on his mouth guard.
Everybody does that.
Okay, well, I guess you're not supposed to. They had half in or something like that, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Really?" And they were barking about that. So Coach Letang said, "Yeah, well, your guy over there, his visor's too high. Do you want to play that game? You want to play a petty?" So that's what was happening there, right? I'm like, "Oh wow, that's
Well, it escalated quick to
it did,
full-on
it did,
chirping
it did.
for sure.
Yes." So the coaches were in on it too.
Well,
But-
and we certainly took enough penalties for John at the other team.
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure.
So,
Well,
and
before-
I mean that was honestly pretty fair because they were dinging us both.
oh
right,
yeah, oh for sure,
for stuff.
for sure.
So yeah.
All right, well, let's go to the fight right now with Harper, and then we'll come back and talk
Okay.
some more.
Any more shenanigans? And yeah, we do. Harper swinging away here with Giroux. After the whistle, these guys swinging away. Harper trying to go battering ram here, and down to the ice they go. These guys are out of the game.
Yeah, Harper's going to be.
Now
down
watch
that
the
goal.
look on Voigt's face. when
As
they-
well, Drew.
when,
You couldn't
Harper
have timed
comes
that
off
any
here.
better because you said, "I wonder if we're all done," and I looked down and there.
If you can catch it. But anyway, I don't think they thought Harper could fight.
Well, you know what? I mean, this was interesting because I mean Harper he's not a huge guy, so
No.
he's not the kind of guy that you would normally expect to see in a fight. But then Giroux, who he was scrapping with, was about the same size.
Right.
So these are guys I would not have expected to
Yeah.
see going at it, but they did, and I think in the tail of the tape, I think I'd have to give that one to Harper.
It was
for
30
sure.
seconds there too of a fight, pretty much.
Yeah,
and,
it was fairly aggressive, but I mean I mean everybody was hot under the collar
Yes.
at that point of the game. So
We saw it coming for sure. There was a lot
Oh,
of referees were going,
absolutely.
"Hey, you guys stop!" Like before the puck was dropped and stuff. There's a couple times I thought the gloves were going to go, and I'm surprised how that went though, because of they went after the whistle was blown, right?
yep.
So anyway, it was good for Harper, I guess.
Well,
right?
you know what, and I mean I think, and honestly, you can't not fault the referees partly for some of the tone of that game, because the truth is that I think they sort of lost control of that game about the middle of the second period.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, there were some marginal calls and some calls missed and some stuff like that. And I think overall, but I mean, it was still fairly fair. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, I think they tried to let the guys play hockey. And in making that decision,
It backfired a little?
I think they lost control of the game.
Yeah,
You
okay.
had two teams that were, because they could have very easily shut down that chippiness and that, that aggressive style.
Well,
of
you've said it
hockey
many
and-
times, like, the referees have a role in setting the tone, if
Sure
you will,
they do,
of
yeah.
the game that comes out, right? Now, we saw some different line changes in yesterday's game from the previous games, and let's go to that right now. Our line change here, or our lineup here, brought to you by Hughes
Sure,
Intelligence.
yeah.
Mostly the same. I think the biggest change here is we're really seeing Hoover's back, and
Yep.
Hoover and Ritchie will be paired up. What do you see there?
I think that's, we'll see what happens. I mean, the unfortunate part is we haven't really seen much of Hoover other than, occupying the bench in the penalty
Well,
box.
maybe that's his purpose. I don't know.
But I thought Ritchie had a pretty strong game, and to strengthen sort of his pairing, that's probably not a bad gig. I think
Right.
if Ritchie can bring Hoover down to a point where we can get some good hockey out of him, and if Hoover can sort of elevate Ritchie's aggressiveness, then I think we might see some real benefit.
I like the lineup here, too, of McDonnell, Wainwright, and Vilmanis.
Yeah.
I mean, Vilmanis certainly showed up getting a goal for us yesterday.
Well, and
and,
McDonnell was, he was there. Like,
Yeah.
he had a lot of really strong opportunities, and I think, I think that's going to be eventually a pretty productive line.
I think so.
Yeah.
Certainly some changes. I mean, but here's the thing where, I was talking upstairs with one of my friends there, and he thought that the Sting gave up too much. They were giving away some stuff there, and it kind of reminded me of what you say. They'd get up to the guy, and they'd just take the stick and just go like this and then get it away from him. But then now the puck's loose. Instead of getting there with both hands on the stick
exactly.
and getting in there and taking the puck away, but
Yeah.
get control of that puck immediately.
Well, and I'll go back to something I mentioned yesterday too. To win the hockey games, you got to want to have the puck on your stick,
Right.
and you got to want to take those shots when the opportunity presents itself. And even if you don't have the opportunity, just putting it in the neighborhood of the net, because of the goals that we got, I want to say the majority of them were rebound goals.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's
So
right. That's
you've
a good
got to
point.
have somebody putting the puck on the net, and then, and then you've got to have those people there. But I mean, we had too many times where we had, an awesome chance going forward, but
Yep.
we were at the
Yep.
end of somebody's shift, and so all of a sudden we have, this line change that just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Or just didn't happen the way we needed it to happen in order to capitalize on that opportunity. And so there were too many times where I looked, I'm going, great, we got a guy, he's coming in. It's just, 1-on-2. Where's everybody else?
Right.
Where's everybody else? And there was a lot of that happened. And
Well,
I
and
think,
maybe maybe Hoover being back tonight will help with some of that. And
let's hope so.
and again, to go back to Vilmanis, I mean, like I say, he really showed up well for the team yesterday.
I agree.
I think we're going to see a lot more from Vilmanis.
I think
he was part of the post-game press conference yesterday. And
he certainly has a more of a finesse style to him, which is that's some smart hockey that he's playing, and I like that.
Yeah. Doucette and McDonald scratched for tonight as well, along still with Nolan Dillingham, who we're definitely missing out there.
Yeah.
I have confirmed he's been out on the ice practicing. not just skating around, but he's been taking some shots with the stick.
Oh,
'cause
good.
I believe it's his wrist that's been the problem, right?
Yep, for sure.
And they said 4 to 6 weeks originally. Sounds like mail delivery. 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. So probably likely a couple of more weeks before we'll see Nolan Dillingham back out there. And I think that is a factor in what's affecting this team right now.
Yeah.
Not just out here. I mean, obviously he can be in the locker room, but when you're not out on the ice with your players, it's not the same in the locker room than if you're just not playing and you're in the locker room,
and
right?
I mean, I'm glad that
you're not tasting it out there.
I'm glad that he's practicing, because, that's the fear when you get somebody who's off for that long. You don't want them to lose any of their conditioning and lose any of that.
Well, and
to
there's
have
some new
them
players out there
still
too.
connected to the team during practice, I think is a good gig.
Yeah, and there's some new players out there that he's going to have to get used to as well. Cooper Way, who we really didn't see anything from. And I don't know that, not to be negative, but I don't know that we're really going to see a whole lot. I think, the trade with Ryder McIntyre there was a pretty, similar height, similar build, weight, all that stuff. And I think we got a round pick out of it as well as.
Yep.
So I think that's all
I think it was some opportunity for Ryder for sure because, the way we're playing right now,
Points
I
are
think
about the same for both.
Yeah, and I think, it was an opportunity for Ryder. And, again, we mentioned it yesterday. I think sometimes just a change of venue will help somebody flourish.
Right,
And
your environment.
And I'm hoping that Cooper Way,
Different personalities.
finds a home here in Sarnia.
Yep.
And steps up to the plate. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
With that, in terms of it, I think he's got a little more of an aggressive nature clearly from what we've seen so far than Ryder did. But Ryder was a hell of a contributor to our team.
Absolutely.
So
he'll be missed. Thank you, Ryder, for your time here.
Absolutely. So we'll see what happens. Best of luck to him anyway.
Look at this. Oh, sorry. So yelling obscenities, inappropriate gestures, discriminatory or foul language, or physical harassment. This is a code of conduct from the OHL, which that's the first time I've seen that up there.
Is that for players or for fans?
Well,
because I got to say, I'm guilty of maybe a couple of those.
Well, maybe that was directed at you, Jay
all of them.
Peckham.
Yeah, I don't know.
You might have encouraged some of it at some point, too. We'll see.
Yeah.
But that's interesting we see that up there. I also saw yesterday that they put up that do not, like the Chuck-a-Puck's really popular, do not throw them from the suites above.
Or you're going to get ejected.
Because it might land on Jay Peckham's head, right?
You know what? Whatever.
I get it, right?
Land on my head. It's a little foam puck.
The fans can definitely get excited, right? So
this is true.
But let's keep it respectful out there. At the end of the day, I think is what they're saying. All right.
My section is quite animated, so it's all good.
Well, you're the leader of the animated section. You're like the mayor of section
the
108.
Mayor of 108.
Right?
Absolutely.
All right. You
I'll
stay
take
down
that.
over there. Have you voted yet?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Good stuff. Right on.
Voted online.
I have a lot of people saying to me, "Oh, David, are you covering that again this year?" And I'm like, "No, sorry." And they were like, "Oh, really? Bummer." I'm like, "I'm sorry. I'm busy."
Yeah.
You can go online and find the results updated. Blackburn Radio will have all the coverage. All right, the swarm
warning. But it's important to get out and vote, though.
Absolutely. Make sure you do that.
People,
all right, the swarm warning is in effect here, which means you're starting to stay and getting ready to come out onto the ice. Of course, post-game press conference later today. And we'll see what happens here. Let's get to the first period. We'll be back here again to give you the updates. Hopefully Jay Peckham is smiling because I hate it when he's not. I don't really want to hug him,
He's a grumpy guy, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm David Burrows with the Sarnia Sting live from the concourse and my friend Jay Peckham.
Go Sting, go!